Well, all right. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, man.
I've been a fan of the show since it came out in 2015. So
Oh,
it's
nice,
it's great
nice.
to see that it's back and yeah, it's amazing.
Good to hear. Good to hear, man. Our
Does
followers are, our fans are unique.
it, yeah, exactly. Does it still feel a bit surreal that you're back playing Wilson Fisk in a Daredevil show?
It did last season. Now we're shooting the second season. It's like, like we're really kind of like, establishing our show now, and it's kind of like we're really in like work mode. It's a tough series to shoot for Charlie, especially, but for myself too. Both of us having being the leads on the show, it's like it's tough, and it's just there's a lot of action and a lot of incredible like emotional scenes, and it's just so we're all just like having a blast, like all the whole crew and all of our producers. We're having a blast concentrating on this show that we want it to be its best, the best we can do. So it's cool, you know.
And are you still able to discover new things about the character in this show and in this
Oh
season?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy to say, really, because you would think that this would happen in a like a more dramatic scene, but the other night, was it last night? All the days get blurred when we're shooting, 'cause it's like 13 hours a day and stuff. I think it was last night or the night before last. We were doing a fight scene, Charlie and I, a Daredevil Fisk fight scene, which is pretty cool. But during the scene, where there was a couple of kind of couple of ideas that came up that were different, stuff that we hadn't done before, of places that we've taken the characters during a fight or even just in dialogue together. We took it to like a new place, like a really good mid-season, second season place we took it to. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, like all the time there's like new notes you can hit, and then you can make these, depending on what the writing is and the context of the scene, you can make these, you can always make choices that you never made before if you want to explore.
I mean, in the first season of Born Again, for a good chunk of the show, Wilson moves away from his past life to enter politics as he becomes
Yeah.
the mayor of New York. Can you talk about approaching that character in a different light as he enters a world he's pretty much unfamiliar with?
Yeah. The first season was a kind of, it was sort of like, um the metaphor would be that a vampire trying to live in the daylight. That would be the metaphor for my character, and it's just not possible. But he needs to, so he has to bear the sunlight, you know, and it gets tough. It's tough. It's a tough road for him in that first season. Really tough. Um, but he gets like everything. He gets what he wants in life. This particular guy, the way he wants it, which is not very nice.
I mean, it's no secret that the show underwent a creative overhaul during the strikes, and I think you guys really hit the gold mine getting Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead to direct a couple of episodes. They're
Yeah,
incredible. I've seen
yeah,
most of their movies, and they're just, I mean, super creative. And I love what they did with this show in
yeah.
particular. Can you talk what it was like working with those
Well, I,
two
I
writers?
just knew, I was a fan of theirs already. Like I knew going in, I knew that they were responsible for Loki and the last season of Loki, and I thought that was an incredible season. And then because of that, I looked up their other stuff that they had done and stuff. So I knew who, and they were on the top of my list when we were talking about new people to come in, as they were on top of the list of a few people. And yeah, like those guys, were they're awesome dudes. First of all, they're good men, and we talk once a week. We're all very friendly now. And they came back to do a couple in the second season, but they're, of course, they're like, they're the real deal. They, if it wasn't for Dario doing the writing and those two guys pretty much taking steering the ship, you know, the, we wouldn't have the season we had, it's like, we were very lucky to have him. Yeah.
How fun was it to shoot that diner scene in the first episode? Because it immediately sets that tension between Matt and Fisk that, yes, they're leaving their old activities behind, but we know that they're going to come back to them eventually.
Yeah. Well, just to preface what I'm about to say with, it's always like working with Charlie is always my favorite because it's just so easy and we work together just seamlessly. It's amazing, really. We're doing what the script entails, but we're coming up with ideas and choices while we're actually on our feet doing the scene. It's completely, he trusts me, I trust him. It's like we can talk about anything, do anything, try anything. It's like really that alone makes it a good day, But then, that particular scene is, there are portions of that scene that we had never had in a scene between the two of them before. So there was like some levity, and there was calmness and a real conversation, almost a real conversation, and then this kind of looming thing that they both know that they're going to clash. They're probably most likely going to clash, but they can't live without each other because of that. Without the other, it's really not much for the other one to do. So it's like in a way, so it's, yeah, all that is, and that's all it kind of happens in little spots throughout that scene. It's a long scene in the diner, just two guys sitting there. So there's a lot to say, and we hit a lot of fine points and subtleties of what's to come and our past relationship. Yeah, we enjoyed it. It went by too quickly. Like we only shot it for a couple of hours. I could have done that all day. It was just so nice.
I assume it's also great to develop, I guess not really a rivalry between Matt and Fisk. I'm going to echo what Charlie said in my interview with him. It's more of a codependent relationship, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like that, it's like if you're rooting for a sports team, and you have one rival of that team that you hate, you just hate them, but you wouldn't want them to go away. You want to see that game every year, you know, no matter what the outcome, you still want to see them. You want the team to play them. You know what I mean? One can't live without the other.
I mean, especially when he takes a bullet for Fisk. That was a pretty surprising scene.
Yeah. 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 It's such our show, we hit all these kind of notes like that are really hard to play. And somehow with everybody's help, we somehow pull it off. It's like crazy. Some of it's very subtle and some of it's very operatic. And it's very big. That particular scene that you're talking about is such an opera, with the ballroom dancing and the way that Aaron and Justin shot it, and the communication that's going on between all the characters and why it's really tying up a lot of story things and then leads to this big dramatic moment that nobody would have expected. It's quite, it's funny to think about it, like how we got away with it. But takes a village, as they say.
When you were working on the series, was it always obvious that the story of Matt and Fisk would sort of mirror each other, especially in the sixth episode, right? As we see them crawl back to their old activities.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about these two guys is that even as far back as you want to go from the first time that they met in the comic books, and all the way through every run that's made sense up to all the recent stuff, um, they're they're always on a path of some kind that doesn't include the other, and then the other is interrupting the path. It's either an emotional path or some kind of path in life that they want to take, like be married, have kids, settle down, or it's some kind of agenda that they need to accomplish, that they need to emotionally accomplish, not just for greed or just for this or just for that, but for to be who they are, and that's always in every comic book, always interrupted by one of them, so interrupting the other in some way. And that's how it's going to go on like that. There's so much emotion and so many stories to tell in under that umbrella. It's kind of cool. I love it. I love the job. The job is a really good. It's hard, but it's really good. It's uh, it's really inventive, and Charlie and I have a lot of freedom, but we don't abuse it. We make sure that everybody's on the same page every day, that we're shooting the same scene, that we're not wasting our time. And it's like it's a good it's a good team to work with, and the fans are just so helpful. You know, because when we do something right, they let us know, and when we do something wrong, they let us know. It's great. You know.
I was going to ask, like, how hard is it to get into the mindset of Fisk, especially in the ninth episode where he kills Commissioner Gallo with his bare hands? It's probably the most violent sequence I've seen out of any of the Daredevil sequence. It was quite it was quite shocking.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I took a great interest in that scene. You know, and I still didn't think it was going to make it. The whole thing would make it in. I thought maybe they'd use part of it or show very little. But they left it. The way the directors cut it and the way we shot it, and it's an extraordinary moment. How do you prep for it? You really have to just think about at least three of the things that he's under the thumb about, the character, and and he's got to conquer those things. And if and it's not just about, like, when you play these kinds of parts, you don't think of him as the bad guy. You're thinking of somebody who needs something. They really need something. They need something for their family, and they need something for in his situation. He really believes that he needs to do this for Vanessa and for the people who live in New York City. He really does believe that. And so if you look at it in that context, it's this he that the Commissioner Gallo was one of the guys that was standing in his way of accomplishing this thing he needs to do for his family and his in the city. And he had to go away, and nobody else was going to do it, so he had to do it. Crazy to think in those terms, but that's all the prep you really need. It comes out of the frustration and the anger of Fisk in that moment. Just had it up to here with this guy, kind of a thing.
And speaking of Vanessa, you share a number of really great scenes with Ayelet, either with Adam or in the marriage counseling sessions with Dr. Glenn. Can you talk about collaborating with her in the series and reuniting also on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that we did get her back. Um, we could have, the actress that was playing her in the first iteration was really good. She's an amazing actress, actually. But once we decided to change directions, it was important. So we were getting Karen and Foggy back and everybody back. The audience would have bumped on the fact that Ayelet was that Vanessa was a different actress, and so it was a tough move to make, but it was a good move to make. And Ayelet is, she's one of the best actors period that I've ever worked for. I mean, definitely, like, her skill is out of this world. I mean, the scenes that we do are strange scenes. They're not easy scenes because they're always in this bizarre context, but we're living a life like any couple would, having problems, but yet we're monsters. And it's tough to pull off. And when you have somebody as talented as as Ayelet Zur across from you, her performance lifts you up, and you just ride the wave. Amazing. I can't say enough about Ayelet. I've known her for years now, and I know her family, and we're like brother and sister, and it's like she's just amazing.
When you reflect on the time that you've played this character for the past 10 years now, Is there something that you would say was most rewarding for you in the experience you had, being in the Daredevil show and also in the Marvel universe as a whole?
What was the question? What
Oh,
was what? The most what?
sorry. When you reflect on playing this character for the past
Yeah.
10 years, is there something that you would say was most rewarding for you in the experience of, being in
I
Daredevil
think,
and the Marvel universe?
yeah. I think the idea that Charlie and I accomplished the show, and this goes back to the beginning of the Netflix show. You know, we had these great writers and we had these great creators that wanted to get away with this thing. And Charlie and I had to pull it off, you know, and that was a big feat. Like nobody knew it was going to work. And especially because, they had made that Daredevil movie before and people didn't like it. I kind of liked it, but nobody else seemed to like it. But
I like it too.
yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Um, I guess like that's just the wrong thing to say. Probably a lot of people liked it, but maybe it just got a bad review or something. Anyway, I thought it was silly, but as far as people not liking it, but we had to prove that we could be different and we could be more grounded and more gritty. That's what the original creators of our version wanted to be, really down in the dirt, nothing flashy, just brutality at its rawest and the most raw it could be. And it was hard. And so the accomplishment of that, and now coming back again after these years and kind of revamping this storyline or continuing the storyline, but on way different paths than they were in the original, and pulling off the characters again, pulling off the dynamic, and pulling off this kind of heightened world where it's gritty and grounded, but yet it's still heightened in a way because it is a superhero show kind of, and so that's the best thing for me. I just enjoy so much the fact that we've figured out how to pull it off twice now, and we just have to keep going with it. We have to keep doing our best. As I said, we're shooting the second season now, and so it's like starting from zero again. We're just going to build on the story that we have in the second season and do it the best we can.
And it must feel exciting to know that there are more stories to tell with the character, and that the fan base,
So many,
who have
so
been on
many
your
stories. Yeah,
the
so
fan
many
base is also
stories.
equally excited as you are, I assume.
Totally, and just like the comics, keep in mind that, and the fans should keep in mind that just like in the comics, the whole environment can change. The whole situation, the whole context we can switch. You'll in the second season, there's this amazing thing that happens, which I can't say much about, but it's a movement which hopefully spins into the third season. I hope if we get there.
Well, I can't wait to see the second season.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
good.
Well, it's been really great talking today, Vincent,
Yeah,
on
man, thank you.
performance in this series. It's truly, I mean, honestly, one of the best comic book villains of all time. I remember watching the original show when I was a teen in high school. That scene
Oh wow.
kill Ben Urich was extremely terrifying when I saw that for the first time.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. He was so good, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Well, it
So,
was nice to meet you, dude.
yeah,
Thank you for all the
absolutely.
support. I appreciate your support very much.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
all do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to meet you too. I cannot wait for season 2, and I know you're doing Caught Stealing also coming up next, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
see
it
that.
comes out. Yeah, it comes out. I think
In
we start to
August.
impress. I think we start to impress in August. Yeah, mid-August or something.
All right. Well, looking forward to see that movie, and I hope you have a very
Thanks.
good rest of your day.
Take care, man.